friends, welcome back to Good Life Farm. So I am doing some canning today. You can see behind me I've got everything kind of set up. This pot right here is filled with some turkey broth. Of course, we just had Thanksgiving, and as soon as the turkey, well, as soon as everybody's done eating, we take all of the turkey meat off, we put it into containers, and then the carcass went into my roaster with onions and all sorts of goodies with some apple cider vinegar. And then after about 24 hours, I took it out, I strained everything through some cheesecloth, and then I stuck the whole pot in the refrigerator to chill. That way I could remove any fat off the top, because I don't want a ton of extra fat in that. And so now it is time to can it up. I've got the broth in the pot here heating up. I let it come to a rolling boil. I've got some quart jars in my oven down here just warming up on the warm setting. And I've got my pressure canner here ready to go, because of course you do have to pressure can broth. So I'm going to get started and we'll see how much broth we got out of that turkey. I didn't really measure it. I honestly never really measure it when I do this. I just put all the stuff in my electric roaster, and then I just fill it with enough water to cover the turkey carcass. And I do break it into pieces as much as I can to smash it down in there, and then just enough water to cover, and that water becomes the broth, and that's what we're going to can today. Alright, so we're going to fill the jars up to 1 inch headspace. Again, that's the space from the top of the jar to the top of the contents in the jar. Ooh, hot. And little Miss Willow is down there helping with the tripod, as you can tell. I'm going to take a damp rag, dip it in some white vinegar, and wipe the tops of the jars. Even though I'm using the funnel, I always do this just as a precaution. Make sure there's no oil or anything like that on. We're going to place a lid on, put on a ring, just snug, and into the canner. I filled the gap in the middle of my pressure canner with a jar of water. That way I wouldn't have to worry about any of my turkey broth jars falling over, just kind of filling in that space. Hey friends, so it's actually the next day, and I just got busy yesterday, so I never really finished up my video. But the turkey broth processed in the pressure canner for 25 minutes because I was doing quarts. I did have a little bit of extra left over, so I did fill up a pint jar as well. And so I ended up getting 5 quarts and a pint from that one turkey. Lots of broth that, you know, basically came from something that would have been thrown away. So it's just a great way to stretch the dollar, make things go a little bit further. And one of those jars of broth I will set aside and save it for next Thanksgiving, because when I make my dressing, I really like to use turkey broth for it, so that you kind of get that turkey flavor in there with the dressing, since I don't stuff my turkey anymore. So this morning I got up and I went ahead and I took the rings off of all of my jars. I tested my lids, made sure they all sealed, which generally they pretty much always do. I very, very rarely have a jar not seal. Over on my website, I have the complete recipe on how to do the turkey broth with all of the measurements and all of that. But like I said, I don't really measure the water. I just put in enough to cover all of the ingredients and that turkey carcass. So if you would like to get that, I'll put a link to that down below. Again, when you are doing any sort of canning, you do have to make adjustments for your elevation, and I have an article on my website where I explain that. And then one last thing, a question that I get all the time is, how does my broth get so dark, whether it's chicken broth or turkey broth? Anytime you're doing a poultry broth like that, mine almost looks like beef broth. And the trick to that rich caramely color is using the skins of the onions. I save those in my freezer, and the end pieces and all of that. Anytime I'm doing some cooking, I just put them in a freezer bag, stock them away in my freezer, and then all of those pieces, all of those veggie scraps, all of those will go in anytime I do another batch of broth. But the tannins in the onion skins is what gives that amazing color to the turkey broth or chicken broth. And it actually helps with beef broth as well. So that's just a question that I get fairly often. So if you would like to make this, I do have the complete recipe on my website, and I will put a link to that down below. So thanks for joining me here again in the Homestead Kitchen. My name is Constance at A Good Life Farm, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Say bye. Bye, everybody. Say bye. You can wave. You can wave. Say bye. Bye. No. Yes, there you go. Good.